I felt 60. Now, you said that you started off at 60 to have twins. What are you going to do at 70?
Well, guess what? It's around the corner, and I can't believe it. And you know, I may write a book about what 70 is like, because you know what? I'm discovering it all for myself for the first time. There's no one else that has told me about 60 or 50 or 40 or whatever. You know, Oprah used to say, watch out 50s here, and I'm saying, watch out 60s here, watch out 70s here. Every time I hit a new decade, it's really good. And so, yeah, I may write a book about that too. What I'm doing with my life, and my life goes on, and just the fact that you can say to yourself, I'm going to write a book about myself, what do I want to write? Write that book and then go ahead and act on it. And that's as simple as it is, really. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I also have a question to follow up a little bit on that. You mentioned earlier that you have not had much support throughout your life. Your parents said no, society said no. I was wondering, did you get support from your spouse?
No. There he is, right there. No, and I'll tell you why I didn't. We grew up in a generation with the baby boomers, when the men controlled more or less, not that they were bad people, but what can I tell you? That's another story. But yeah, the women stayed at home, took care of the children, and there was defined roles. But it wasn't a good thing, because there were double standards involved. And, you know, men are living longer now too. It's better for them because they had all the responsibilities. So just to be a little bit supportive, but to be more supportive on my side, I felt extremely oppressed. And I remember telling my husband once, you know what, maybe I'll be a surgeon. And he said to me, yes, sturgeon with locks. And I felt I was going, because I saw myself a certain way, not the person he married. I was 22 at the time. But I really appreciate that question, because men have changed, and it's wonderful. You see men as nurturers, they're carrying their babies, and they're delighted with this. I mean, I have a son who's just amazing. He looks like he's 18, he's in his early 40s, he carries a cell phone and he does work. He's carrying his little baby, and he says, Ma, wait a minute, I have something to do. He comes back, he made a deal. No office, no suits, no nothing. You know, and I always thought that's the way we should live. Work, that's not your question, but 3 days a week, and that's it. But yes, men have changed. My husband, it's been hard because he came from a family where the father was, you know, the paternal whatever, they call it, the patriarch of the family. And it was very hard for me. He married a woman that was supportive of his career. I worked while he was in law school. And when he finished law school, he said, you know, Frida, it's time to have kids. I couldn't have kids then, but everyone in my generation was saying after 4 years of marriage, are you okay? I mean, what's wrong with you? So I just showed them at that time. I wanted to show everybody that I was okay. Now I don't care so much, but at that time, so I had 2 children, and then, where am I? Who am I? I don't have a law degree. So I felt extremely empty at that time, and as I said before, it was in my 30s. I felt devastated and scared where my life would take me. So I went ahead and did all these things that my friends did not support. They said, why would you want to go back to school now? And I really struggled, and I'll tell you, it was not easy. I got a lot of different babysitters I didn't like. My little boy, I had to make sure he was okay. And it tore me apart when I was in school, and I was worried about my children. But I also knew, and I found out, and I did research later on, that mothers who worked had children who were more confident and more contented. So the instinctual drive you have for yourself, your children, that's really true. And so the answer is that yes, my husband, getting back to your question, was not easy, but when the midst of the struggle that I had with going back to school and getting a career was almost like this. But we worked really hard. I worked very, very hard to make sure that my family was first. Always in my life, my family's first. And our marriage ended up better than ever. And I did, for my dissertation, for my PhD, I researched that. And I found out, I interviewed 700 women. And I found out that that was the case, that when women change their careers or do what they want to do, if the husband stays and remains supportive, the marriage is better than ever.
We have time for 2 more questions. Yeah, over here someplace.
Hi, I'm Tamar, the new Israeli emissary, and I have a question for you, Dr. Birnbaum. I'm in my 30s, and my mother is 62. She's about to retire, and I feel she gave her whole life for 3 of us. I'm the youngest. She raised us by herself. And my question is, now that I'm 6,000 kilometers away from her, how can I be the best supporter to her as she begins her new life as a retired woman this August after 35 years as a social worker? She gave her whole life for everyone else. And I wanted to know, I'm very inspired by your lecture here. And I want to know, how can I help her?
The very, very best thing you can do for your mother is to take care of yourself. Be happy, do what you want to do, not what you're told to do. So if you want a career, you met somebody you love, or whatever that is, go and take care of yourself, and you're going to inspire her, and she'll be inspired by you. Absolutely.
Thank you. Last question. Yeah.
Yeah, just 2 quick things. One, the world has changed, and one of the points you made struck me in that when you said fathers should encourage their daughters' intellect. But I have a granddaughter who's a fabulous athlete, and I think that we should ask our sons and our grandsons to encourage their daughters' interests and abilities no matter what they are. So that really struck me. And the second question I have is, what do you do for those of us who feel 30, but our bodies don't respond?
Well, you know, everything starts in the mind. Everything starts how you feel. And when you are able to interpret your life according to who you are, everything follows. You may not jog, but you know, jogging's not even good for your knees anyway. So what's the difference? You know, it's just a matter of movement. If you don't use your energy, you're not energetic. I know if I'm sitting for a long time, I say, oh, I can't get up. But once I get up, there's nothing that stops me. So it's just a matter of pacing yourself according to who you are. And if you've been athletic or if you're not athletic, it's a matter, I've never been athletic my whole life. I keep saying I'm going to go to the gym, you know, or I pay them or something like that. But the truth is that when you are able to do what's right for you, it's just a matter of using your energy according to your self-ability. That's all it is. It's not measuring anybody else. It has nothing to do with that. So we're talking about health, we're talking about energy, we're talking about stamina, vitality. It's the whole package. It's your thinking capacity, it's your productivity in life. Are you making any kind of difference in your life? Are you connecting to people? What are you doing today? And if you're using energy walking, or you're using energy exercising in some way, that's the best energy you can have anyway. So that's it. You're doing the right thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our authors today, Dr. Frieda Birnbaum, Marlene Trestman, and our very own Dr. Shelley Buxbaum, 3 amazing trailblazing women. The ladies will be signing their books down by the clock tower, by our theater. We invite you to join us for our 12:30 program with Adam Levin and learn how to stay safe on the internet.